Hi, I'm Robin Bensley. Welcome to Chow Time. I've always had a great interest in the history of food. So on the menu today, how does this sound? A medieval recipe. The medieval period was actually a pretty long one. It began in the 5th century after the fall of Rome and lasted up until the 15th century. And during those rough times, food was, in some respects, amazingly sophisticated. Now, royalty and the upper crust ate a little differently than peasants because they ate a lot more meat. And you'd also find unusual things on their table like stork and heron and porcupine and peacocks. The peasants made a lot of stews, vegetable stews, and they made a thing called gruel, which was ground pork and barley. And this is fascinating to me. They never ate raw vegetables because they thought they were very unhealthy. So they always had to cook their vegetables. Now for dessert, they were pretty good at making custards and pies and puddings and various things like that. They often had simply figs dipped in honey. That was their dessert. As far as drinks go, mostly ale and wine. But see, the peasants were the one that drank barley ale morning, noon, and night, and the wealthier people were the ones who drank the wine. So let's go make some medieval meatballs. We're going to make pork meatballs in a way that perhaps they would have back then. So I have a couple of pounds of ground pork, and I'm going to add some currants, which are like little baby raisins, because they use currants all the time in their cooking. And they like to put a little bit of fruit with their pork. And then we're also going to add something salty. We're going to add some Roquefort cheese. I'm going to crumble some of that in there. And Roquefort cheese has been around since the year 1070. Next, we're going to add some ground mace. And two more things, some fresh breadcrumbs and an egg to kind of help bind it together. Then we're just going to dive right in and mix it all up with our hands. Now we roll our meatballs, and we're going to roast these in the oven. You can also skewer these and put them on the grill, which would be a little more rustic, actually, but the weather didn't allow for that. So I'm just baking my meatballs. Last one on the tray, and I'm just going to go wash my hands at the well. And we will bake these at 375 degrees. While those are roasting in the oven, we're going to make a medieval mustard sauce to dip them in. So we're going to take some brown mustard, which this was the most popular condiment in the Middle Ages because mustard plants would grow wild everywhere, and so they made their own mustard. And this was used a lot, especially even to cover up, say, a fish that was rotting a little bit, would cover up that rancid taste. And then sometimes they would add finely chopped or even ground almonds to it, and a dash of cinnamon. Very, very interesting flavor combination. Those took 45 minutes to roast in the oven. I'll put them on a platter. And you know what I'd love to think about? 1,000 years ago, when some woman was making these in a little stone village somewhere, Did she think 1,000 years from now, will they know about this recipe? Or how about this? 1,000 years from now, what kind of food will we be eating? What new things will come into the human life that have never yet been cultivated before? Back then, they had knives and spoons, but forks had not yet been invented, so they ate a lot with their hands. So that's what I'm going to do. These are really good. You get the little touch of sweet with the currants. The Roquefort cheese works really well, and this almond mustard cinnamon dipping sauce is excellent. So the next time the family says, "What's for dinner?" or friends stop by and they say, "Oh, what are you making?" You can say, "Medieval meatballs."